Alright, in this video we're going to be taking my already awesome cart and we're going to be putting a ton of upgrades on the thing. Alright, so we've got ambers, racing harnesses, and whip lights. Alright, so we're going to mount up this front, these lights now. We're going to go the main one in the center and then these right underneath. We're going to just use a little hot glue and some zip ties. It'll be a little janky mount, but it's perfectly fine for me. Got the hardware now for the ambers, so I'm just going to do the same thing where I'm going to put the mounts on and then throw some hot glue on there and zip ties. It's definitely not the prettiest, but it is a quick and easy way to do it. Alright, so I got both of the ambers and the headlight hooked up and mounted, rewired it. Now I'm just going to reconnect the power box in the back and we should be good. So I'm just going to throw this off the side for now and roughly throw these in here just so that we can give it a little test. Flip the switch and we got power. Here we go, we got the ambers on underneath, we got the main headlight. It looks so good. With all the other stuff, it's gonna look even better, but we're getting there. Alright, turn this on. They're working. So I'm gonna connect it to, let's see if I can find them. Right here. Add. Alright, so now we're gonna flip the cart, figure out where we want to install the underglow, and then I've got to cut down the wires because they're way too long. Cut them down, resolder them, get them actually stuck down, so this is going to be a process. Lifted. Okay, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to take the underglow lights, I'm going to hold them up here, and then I'm going to run this set, which is a little bit longer, right down the middle here, and then I'm going to take this set, I'm going to run the shorter end through and around here to get nice flood around the back, and then have the other wire come over here and cover this part. But since it has a ton of extra wire right here, I'm just gonna cut it and then shorten a lot. Alright, so this one now is shortened. There's only about a foot of cable here as opposed to the probably 4 or 5 feet of cable on this one, so I'm going to break that one down and redo that one as well. Okay, so I've got all the wires shortened down to the proper lengths now. Everything is ready to go on. It just needs to get mounted on and then have the wires completely routed. Alright, so now we got to clean the bottom with some rubbing alcohol before we stick down the LEDs because they won't stick otherwise. Stick them down, mount the control box, and then we'll be done underneath and we can test them out. I'm just going to apply a little bit of heat on the bottom to increase the tackiness of the VHB tape to allow it to stick better. So here I'm installing a couple of sticky pads just to hold that that wire down. Still applying a little heat just to increase the stickiness because it is quite cold out here. And I'm doing 3 because these wires are probably going to see some impact when we're on the trails. Okay, so I now have all the underglow actually mounted and set up. I gotta cable manage the input wires and get that hooked up, but it is all mounted, so we can flip the cart back over and it is ready. Time to turn off the lights, step back and turn it on. Alright, so next step is going to be to create some mounts for the whip lights. I have these quick release bases on here, so I'm just going to be using these so I don't have to be bringing that around. But I'm going to mount them about here, and I've got this scrap plate of steel, so I'm probably just going to open up these holes to accommodate for the larger bolt size on the bottom of this mount, and then follow the radius here and transfer that here, and then I'll be able to make 2 of those off this one plate. I'm going to weld those here and then put some triangle plates on the side just to add some further bracing. Alright, so I just did a quick mock-up on the plate of steel. Probably doesn't show well on camera, but there are some lines where I marked it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my hole saw and I'm going to cut out this arch here, which will mesh up against the face of the pipe on the go-kart, and then I'm going to open up this hole as well to accommodate for the size of the mount. Alright, so now that we have this part, we're going to go and test fit it up against the side. Let's just take a look. Perfect, so that'll fit nice, and then the weld bead will go around that nicely. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take the angle grinder, we're going to cut up against the sides here, and that'll give us a nice edge to weld against. Alright, so now I have this plate that is going to mount up very well right up against this pipe here. I'm going to get some more plate steel and cut pieces to go here to here and then here to here just to add some rigidity if I need it. I'm going to weld it on first and see where it ends up. First I'm just going to round over these corners with the angle grinder and then do another one of these for the other side. Alright, so it's now time to weld. I've got the surface prepped. Sorry for the poor lighting, but we're just going to run a bead around on the top and the bottom, and that should be strong enough. If it's not, we can add some support, but we'll give that a try. I'm not going to show it because I don't want to damage my camera, but... Okay, so I ran some clean beads around here. Probably not the best, but they will certainly be strong enough to hold some lights. I'm going to clean them up, and then we're going to mount them up and just get a look at it. I'm first going to just roughly throw the control box in there for now, and then mount the rear part of the cage, just so that we can take a look at what it will look like, because there's obviously a bunch of wiring that has to get done before we can actually fully see what this will look like, but we're getting there. Alright, so now I'm just going to throw the mount onto where I actually made the mount on the cart side. So these are just on a quick release, which makes this really easy for me. So I'm going to take them and just throw these on here. Fits nicely. This should be finger tight for now because I still have to take them off to paint these new mounts. Perfect. So these are the control wires. So I'm just going to tip this box down for a minute. And then get my hardwares. Take this. toss it right up on here. Last bolt going right here. Okay, perfect. It's roughly fit on there now. So that's what the back cage looks like. Now we can take these and drop them onto their mounts. Perfect. And this is going to be the left turn. Do that one in. Take the right turn. Bring this one over here. Grab this flag. Pull it back, slide it in, it's locked in. These wires will of course get managed, but for now, just so I can take a look at them. And then the rest of the cage gets placed up on top like this. And power on. Oh, hell yeah. Looks so good. Let's get the lights off. Wow. Those actually look so good. Alright, so I have these two rocker switches that need to get mounted. This one is for the turn signals, which are able to be done by the whip lights. And I have the power switch for them. So I'm going to take this capacity screen out because I don't use it anymore. And I'm just going to mount them right here and here. Alright, so I got the switches all connected up to the Ethernet cable. I'm gonna have to trace these after, but these are now hooked up. Now I just have to hook them up in the back. Alright, I got the rear box all closed up. Everything now works. So if I flip that on, the fans come on to the controller. Lights work. The switch here turns them on and off. And then the blinker switch also works, which is great. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the rear cage on, a rear part of the cage, and then try and figure out what I'm going to do for the harness mounting. Alright, so the leftmost belt can be mounted with the cage right here, and then underneath where the seat mounts, right down there. Right there, there's a mount for where they used to have seat belts, but now we're putting in harnesses. So I need to weld up a second mount right here to hold this one, and then we're gonna mirror how we did this one there, and then both of the middle ones will mount with those mounts. So I'm gonna pull the seat out and then weld a tab there. Alright, so I'm gonna put down some fiberglass blanket on anything I don't want to get damaged from the heat of the welding. Alright, I get everything ground down and prepped for welding. Welding in the snow is going to be fun, but everything's ready. We're going to tack that on, give it some nice beads so that it's strong, and then we'll be done with the welding. Alright, I've got the harness mount on here now. Some very nice beads on there. Now we just gotta button everything up, and we'll be done. I got some new hardware to hold on the cage, just because the old ones were rusted and probably not the strongest. So, alright, with that, it's all buttoned up and it looks amazing. These harnesses are hella comfortable. We've got the blinker control switches, and it's just so bright. It looks so good. I can't wait until the snow melts so that we can rip this thing in the trails. But this thing is awesome. Can't wait.